you're being read, even when nothing is said. Not by your words, by your timing. A pause that feels off, a reaction that arrives too clean, a move that comes exactly when expected. Individually, it's nothing. Together, it's a pattern. And once a pattern forms, it doesn't stay hidden. It becomes a guide for how you'll be handled next. This is where most people lose ground without realizing it. They think control is about what they say, what they decide, what they do in obvious moments. But control is decided earlier, in the way behavior lines up under pressure. That alignment gives everything away. Niccolò Machiavelli built his thinking around one core idea: never become a fixed point. The moment others can predict your rhythm, they don't need to challenge you. They work around you. And working around you is control. In this video, you will uncover how patterns silently define your position, how small behavioral leaks create long-term disadvantage, and how changing your internal timing shifts the entire dynamic in your favor. Watch this closely, because once you see your own pattern, you'll understand why outcomes were never random, why emotional detachment gives you immediate advantage. Emotion feels natural in the moment. It rises fast, demands expression, and pushes you to respond without delay. Most people trust that instinct. They believe reacting honestly keeps them real, keeps them strong, keeps them respected. That belief costs them control. Because the instant emotion takes over, your state becomes visible. Not just what you feel, but how you process pressure. Tone changes, pacing shifts, small reactions appear. None of it seems significant from your side. From the outside, it reveals everything. Patterns begin to form immediately. What irritates you? What excites you? What creates hesitation? Those patterns don't stay unnoticed. They become reference points for anyone paying attention. Once those reference points exist, your behavior becomes easier to anticipate. And anticipation is leverage. Niccolò Machiavelli emphasized that power depends on controlling what others can observe about you. The less they can read, the less they can position themselves against you. Emotional exposure removes that protection instantly. Detachment reverses this entire dynamic. When emotion is no longer driving your response, something changes at the structural level. You are no longer reacting, you are choosing. The gap between stimulus and action expands, giving you space to think, adjust, and decide with precision. That gap is where advantage forms. Without visible reaction, others lose their ability to map you accurately. They cannot identify what moves you, what pressures you, or what influences your decisions. Their assumptions become weaker, their predictions less reliable. That uncertainty shifts pressure away from you. Now they are the ones adjusting, trying to interpret something that does not reveal itself easily. Their focus turns inward, questioning their own approach instead of controlling yours. This shift happens quickly. In a single interaction, a single moment where you refuse to react the way they expect, the dynamic changes. The absence of emotional response creates tension on their side, not yours. Most people cannot hold this position. They feel the urge to respond, to express, to release what they feel. That urge pulls them back into predictability. But once you break that habit, your behavior becomes harder to define. Not cold for the sake of appearance, controlled for the sake of position. Every response becomes intentional. Every action carries purpose. Nothing is given away without reason. That consistency builds a presence others struggle to read. And when they cannot read you, they cannot control you. The calculated mind, how thinking without emotion changes outcomes. A clear decision rarely feels comfortable. It feels precise. When emotion is removed from the thinking process, something shifts that most people are not used to experiencing. There is no rush to respond, no need to justify a feeling, no pressure to align with what seems right in the moment. Only evaluation remains. That difference changes outcomes immediately. Most people think through emotion first. They interpret situations based on how they feel, then build logic around that feeling to support their reaction. It appears rational on the surface, but the foundation is unstable, because feeling is inconsistent. What feels right today can feel wrong tomorrow. That inconsistency leaks into decisions. It creates hesitation, second-guessing, and unnecessary adjustments. The result is movement without direction. A calculated mind operates differently. It separates observation from reaction. It looks at what is happening without attaching meaning too early. It breaks situations into parts, identifies what matters, and ignores what doesn't serve the outcome. There is no attachment to being right, only focus on what works. Niccolò Machiavelli built his thinking around this principle. The strongest position comes from clarity, not from emotional certainty. A man who can assess reality without distortion gains control over his next move before anyone else realizes what is happening. This creates a silent advantage. While others are reacting, explaining, or defending their position, you are already ahead, not because you moved faster, but because you moved without interference. That interference is what slows most people down. They overthink because emotion creates noise. They hesitate because they are trying to protect how they feel. They delay because they are unsure which option aligns with their internal state. Remove that noise, and everything becomes direct. Decisions become cleaner, faster, more accurate, because they are based on structure, not feeling. There is another layer to this. When your thinking is not influenced by emotion, others cannot manipulate you through it. They cannot trigger a reaction to change your direction. They cannot create pressure that forces you into a mistake. That resistance makes you difficult to move. And when you are difficult to move, you become difficult to control. Most people never reach this level because they rely on emotion to guide them. They trust it, defend it, and build their decisions around it. But the moment you step outside that pattern, your thinking becomes an advantage others cannot match. Comment no more reactions, and subscribe if you're not going back to old patterns. The reaction trap. Why losing control is the first way you get played. The trap isn't set in the situation, it's set in your reaction. Everything looks normal on the surface. A comment, a delay, a small shift in tone. Nothing dramatic, nothing that should carry weight. Yet the moment it touches you, something changes. Your focus narrows. Your attention locks on to that trigger. The need to respond rises instantly, almost automatic. It feels justified. It feels necessary. That urgency is where the loss begins. Because the second you react without control, you hand over something valuable. Direction. Now your behavior is no longer chosen. It is pulled. And once your direction is pulled, it can be guided. This is how people get played without realizing it. Not through force, not through dominance, but through small moments where control slips for just long enough to be redirected. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that influence is strongest when it feels invisible. The person being influenced believes they are acting on their own, while in reality, their movement has already been shaped. Reaction is the entry point for that influence. When someone can trigger you, they no longer need to control the entire situation. They only need to create the right stimulus and let your response do the rest. That response reveals more than just emotion. It shows timing, decision speed, and priority. It exposes how quickly you break under pressure and how easily your focus can be redirected. Those signals become usable. Once seen, they don't disappear. They become a pattern that can be repeated. The next time, the trigger doesn't need to be stronger. It only needs to be placed correctly. That's where the trap tightens. Because now, your reaction is expected. And expected reactions can be controlled. Most people stay caught in this cycle. They believe reacting proves strength, proves confidence, proves presence. In reality, it proves accessibility. It shows exactly where they can be reached and how easily they can be moved. The shift happens when you break that automatic response, not by suppressing everything, but by delaying it, by refusing to give the moment immediate control over your behavior. That delay creates space, and inside that space, you decide. Instead of being pulled, you choose where to move. That single change removes the entry point entirely, because when your reaction is no longer automatic, there is nothing left for others to manipulate. The silent reading, how observing others exposes their weakness. Speech competes for attention. Silence collects it. When you stop preparing a reply, your focus widens. Micro details rise to the surface. A delayed answer, a tightened jaw, a sudden change in pacing. None of these announce themselves, yet together they form a readable signal. That signal is data. A person rarely says where pressure exists. It leaks through behavior. A topic gets deflected. A detail becomes over-explained. A neutral question triggers a sharper tone. These shifts are not random. They mark friction points. Niccolò Machiavelli treated observation as a strategic asset. Influence requires knowledge, and knowledge is gathered without announcing that you are gathering it. Direct questioning alerts the target. Quiet attention does not. There is a practical method behind this. Hold your response for a beat longer than feels natural. Maintain eye contact without intensity. Let the other side complete their thought without interruption. Then watch what follows. Do they add extra justification? Do they correct themselves? Do they glance away before finishing? Each variation narrows the field. Consistency matters more than any single cue. One hesitation could mean nothing. Repeated hesitation around the same subject points somewhere specific. The pattern is what counts. Another layer appears in contradictions. Words claim certainty, while behavior signals caution. Agreement arrives too quickly, then gets revised. Confidence is declared, yet posture tightens when details are requested. Misalignment between statement and signal reveals where control is being maintained rather than felt. Distance helps. When you don't rush to contribute, the other side fills the space. Extra information emerges, often unfiltered. People attempt to guide perception when they feel observed but not answered. In that effort, they disclose more than intended. Your role is simple. Receive without reacting. No nods that encourage a direction. No expressions that reward a point. No interruptions that reset the flow. Let the stream run. Capture structure, not stories. Over time, a map forms. You know which subjects create avoidance, which prompts trigger elaboration, which moments produce visible strain. With that map, you don't need force. Precision replaces effort. Application stays controlled. You can redirect a conversation toward a safe area or toward a pressure point, depending on your objective. You can time a question when defenses are lowest. You can choose silence again and let the other side reveal the rest. Nothing dramatic is required. Just attention, held long enough to turn small signals into reliable insight. The controlled presence. Why less expression makes you more dangerous. Presence isn't built by showing more. It's built by revealing less. Expression feels like strength because it creates visibility. Words, gestures, reactions, all of it signals confidence on the surface. It gives the impression that you are engaged, dominant, in control of the moment. But visibility comes with a cost. The more you display, the more you define yourself. Every expression becomes a signal. Tone shows intent. Facial shifts expose reaction. Body language reveals comfort or tension. None of it stays hidden once it appears. And once it appears, it can be read. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that power increases when others cannot clearly interpret you. When your behavior does not provide consistent signals, those observing you are forced to guess. Guessing creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates hesitation. That hesitation changes how people interact with you. A controlled presence removes excess expression, not completely but selectively. Instead of reacting to every moment, you allow fewer signals to escape. Your responses become measured. Your movements become minimal. Nothing unnecessary is shown. This shifts the dynamic immediately. Where others expect feedback, they find none. Where they expect reaction, they encounter stillness. That gap forces them to reassess what they are dealing with. Because without clear signals, they cannot form a reliable picture. And without that picture, they cannot predict your behavior. Predictability makes interaction easy. Unpredictability makes it risky. There is a psychological effect behind this. When people cannot read you, they begin to project. They fill in the missing information with their own assumptions. Those assumptions are often exaggerated because uncertainty amplifies perception. Now your presence feels heavier than it actually is. Not because you said more, but because you left space. Most individuals struggle to maintain this state. The urge to express is constant, to react, to respond, to confirm understanding. That urge breaks control and returns them to a readable pattern. But once that habit is reduced, your behavior changes in a noticeable way. You become harder to interpret, harder to anticipate, harder to influence. Interaction with you requires more effort from the other side. They slow down, they become cautious. They adjust their approach because they are no longer certain what will work. That shift is the advantage, because when others are adjusting to you, you are no longer reacting to them. Drop a like on the video and comment "I see it now" if it just clicked for you. The strategic delay, how waiting gives you power over timing. Fast action looks decisive. It also reveals everything. When a moment tightens, the instinct is to close it. Answer, decide, move. That urge feels efficient, like control is being asserted. In reality, it commits you before the field is clear. Early commitment shrinks options. A pause does the opposite. It stretches the moment just enough to change the information you have. New details surface, tone settles, positions clarify, intentions become easier to read. What looked urgent loses its edge. That shift is subtle, but it compounds. Machiavelli placed weight on timing over force. The same action, placed at the right instant, meets less resistance and produces cleaner outcomes. Placed too soon, it collides with uncertainty. Delay is not inactivity. It is controlled sequencing. You decide when the next move occurs, not the pressure of the situation. That control lets you observe how others handle the gap. Do they rush to fill it? Do they over-explain? Do they reveal more than they intended just to regain momentum? The gap exposes them. Most interactions run on rhythm, question, answer, move. Interrupt that rhythm and the structure changes. The other side adapts. And in adapting, they disclose patterns: impatience, overconfidence, doubt. Those patterns are usable. There is a practical way to apply this without appearing passive. Hold your response for a fraction longer than expected. Ask for a minor clarification before committing. Let silence sit for a beat after a statement. None of these are dramatic, yet each one buys you time and shifts the flow. Time converts into clarity. Clarity converts into precision. Another layer emerges with flexibility. When you don't commit instantly, you retain the ability to pivot. New information can be integrated without contradicting yourself. Your position remains adaptable, not locked into the first available option. That adaptability reduces risk. People often mistake speed for strength. Speed without alignment creates friction. You end up correcting mid-course, explaining changes or defending earlier choices. Each correction costs position. Strategic delay avoids that cycle. You act when the path is cleaner, not when the pressure is louder. The move lands with less effort and fewer obstacles, because the timing carries part of the weight. Over time, this becomes a signature. Others sense they cannot rush you into a decision. Attempts to create urgency lose their effect. Conversations slow down around you, not because you force it, but because your pacing sets the frame. And once you set the frame, timing stops being a constraint. It becomes a resource you control. The psychological edge: why understanding people beats competing with them. Competition draws attention to performance. Understanding shifts attention to behavior. One path measures output, speed, effort, visible results. The other reads the person behind the output: preferences, fears, habits, and the small cues that drive choices. The difference decides outcomes long before any visible move happens. When you focus only on competing, you match what's in front of you. You react to what is shown. You try to outperform, outwork, outlast. That keeps you inside the same frame as everyone else. Reading people places you outside that frame. Instead of matching effort, you identify leverage. You notice what someone avoids, what they chase, how they respond when pressure appears. These patterns are not random. They repeat across situations. Once recognized, they can be anticipated. Anticipation changes positioning. Niccolò Machiavelli treated human nature as the core variable. Systems shift, circumstances change, but tendencies remain consistent. Anyone who maps those tendencies can move with less friction and greater accuracy. There's a practical method to this. Listen for priorities hidden in casual statements. Watch how decisions are justified. Notice what gets defended quickly and what gets ignored. Pay attention to tempo: who rushes, who delays, who seeks certainty before acting. Each signal narrows the gap between guesswork and certainty. Another layer appears in incentives. Behavior follows perceived gain. When you identify what someone values most: status, security, recognition, control, you can predict which direction they will lean when options conflict. You don't need to overpower them. You align with the path they are already inclined to take. Alignment reduces resistance. Resistance is what makes competition costly. It forces you to expend energy, pushing against someone else's direction. When you understand that direction, you don't push, you redirect. Redirection is quieter and more efficient. There is also timing. People reveal more when they feel comfortable or when they feel rushed. Both states produce information, but in different forms. Comfort produces detail, urgency produces shortcuts. Reading both states gives you a fuller picture. With that picture, decisions become simpler. You don't chase every opportunity. You select the ones where behavior, incentives, and timing already favor your outcome. The effort required drops because the environment is aligned. That is the edge. It doesn't look dramatic. It looks controlled. Movements appear smaller, yet results land with greater consistency because they are placed where they work best. Over time, this approach compounds. Others stay occupied trying to win contests. You operate by shaping conditions. And when conditions are shaped correctly, results follow without needing to force them. The unpredictable pattern: how breaking expectations keeps you untouchable. Predictability is comfortable, and that's exactly why it's dangerous. People rely on patterns to navigate others. Once a rhythm is recognized, behavior becomes easier to anticipate. Timing, responses, decisions, everything starts to fall into a structure that can be followed. That structure becomes your limit. The moment someone understands your pattern, they no longer react to you in real time. They prepare in advance. They adjust before you move. They position themselves based on what they expect you to do. That expectation is where control slips. Because now you are not being read, you are being predicted. Niccolò Machiavelli emphasized that consistency should be controlled, not exposed. A fixed pattern may look strong, but it creates a stable target. Anyone who studies it long enough can find a way around it. Breaking that pattern removes the target. Unpredictability is not chaos. It is variation with purpose. Instead of responding the same way every time, you shift timing, tone, and behavior. Sometimes you engage directly. Sometimes you hold back. Sometimes you move early, sometimes you delay. The key is that your actions cannot be mapped into a simple sequence. This creates uncertainty. Uncertainty forces others to slow down. That shift weakens their position, because while they are trying to read you, you are already moving. There is a psychological effect behind this. When expectations are broken repeatedly, confidence in prediction collapses. People lose trust in their ability to anticipate your behavior. Once that happens, they stop committing fully to their own decisions. They become cautious. Caution reduces effectiveness. Most individuals avoid this approach because they believe consistency builds trust. In reality, uncontrolled consistency builds predictability. It creates a fixed image that others can study and use. The advantage comes from controlled inconsistency, not random, strategic. You decide when to be clear and when to be ambiguous. You decide when to follow a pattern and when to break it. That control keeps your behavior from becoming a reliable reference point. Without a reference point, there is nothing to prepare against. Interaction with you becomes uncertain by default. Each situation must be handled in the moment, without the safety of expectation. That places pressure on the other side, not on you, because when they cannot predict your next move, they cannot position themselves ahead of it. The Machiavelli state, when you stop reacting and start controlling everything. Control doesn't announce itself. It shows up in how little you're pulled. There's a moment where the usual triggers lose their grip. A comment lands, a situation shifts, pressure appears, and instead of being dragged into it, you remain positioned. From there, everything changes. You are no longer moving because something pushed you. You are moving because you chose the direction before the push arrived. That difference separates reaction from control. One follows the moment, the other shapes it. Niccolò Machiavelli described power as the ability to influence outcomes without exposing the mechanism. The highest level isn't forcing events, it's arranging conditions, so outcomes fall into place with minimal resistance. That arrangement begins internally. When your state is stable, external shifts don't dictate your behavior. Urgency loses its leverage. Provocation loses its effect. The need to answer immediately, to prove, to correct, none of it dictates your timing. That steadiness creates a foundation. From that foundation, you start working with variables instead of fighting them. You read incentives, align pressure points, and place actions where they carry the most weight. Instead of pushing harder, you position better. Positioning reduces effort. You choose when to enter, when to wait, when to redirect. Conversations, decisions, and conflicts stop being events you respond to. They become environments you manage. The frame belongs to you because your behavior doesn't leak control. There's a visible effect on others. Their pace adjusts. Their certainty fluctuates. Attempts to rush you lose impact because your timing isn't tied to their pressure. Attempts to provoke you fall flat because there's no immediate reaction to work with. They begin reacting to you. That reversal is the state. It doesn't require constant action. In fact, it often requires less. Fewer words, fewer moves, fewer signals. Each one carries intent. Each one is placed, not triggered. Clarity replaces noise. You see which levers matter and which don't. You stop engaging with distractions that don't change outcomes. Attention becomes selective, directed only toward what shifts the result. With that, control scales. Small decisions compound. Timed actions stack. Subtle adjustments produce larger effects because they're applied where they count. There's no need to dominate every moment when key moments are handled precisely. This is not about appearing powerful. It's about operating in a way that makes interference ineffective. When nothing can rush you, pull you, or bait you, the environment starts organizing around your decisions. This wasn't meant to motivate you. It was meant to expose how easily control slips, without noise, without warning. Once you notice that, your behavior stops being automatic. Every response becomes deliberate. Every pause starts to matter. That shift is where everything separates. Most will hear this and continue the same way. Same reactions, same timing, same outcomes. A few will actually apply it, and those few won't need to prove anything. It will show in how they move, how they respond, and what they choose not to reveal. If this changed something in the way you think, don't keep it passive. Leave a like so this reaches others who still don't see what's happening beneath the surface. Comment locked in to mark the shift for yourself. Subscribe if you want to keep building control instead of reacting by default. And pass this to someone who still believes being expressive means being powerful. Real control is quieter than that.